Hi, I'm here today to tell you guys about Saros, the next roguelike? Roguelite? Both? Yeah. Game from Housemarque, also known for Returnal. That game was great. I played lots of it, but it has been a long time. So probably not making too many comparisons between the games because I just don't remember much. I just remember having a great time with it. Also, I would like to thank PlayStation for sponsoring this video. Without this, it would be much harder for me to take time off streaming to be able to bring you guys cool information. Okay, so Saros, what is it? Just so you guys can decide to know if this game is for you, if you should keep looking for more info and be excited about. Saros is a roguelike game, for those of you who don't know what that is. Basically, it's a game that you're expected to die over and over again to progress, with roguelite elements, which are elements that allow each time that you die and you come back, you have a sense of progression. A few things are different. You have like a skill tree that allows you to improve how you gain more XP, how your upgrades are better that you find along the road and things like that. And it's also a bullet hell game, which I thought it was actually quite interesting as I was talking with some of the devs that they described this as a bullet ballet. So you're expected to quite dance with the bullets, and that's especially noticeable during the boss fights. I really enjoyed the boss fight that I got to do in this game, and as somebody who usually gets a headache in bullet hell games, this game did not give me a headache, so I'm very happy about it. It felt really nice to control my character. The default speed is very fast, to the point that the first hour of the game that I played, I didn't know there was a sprint button. I assumed that something might be a sprint button, but when I tried holding it, I didn't hold the button long enough. I actually gave this feedback to the dev team, because to sprint in this game you have to hold the button, but it felt like a little bit of a long hold, and I just thought that holding the button didn't do anything. I feel like when your character has a fast movement speed, especially in a game that you're traversing through areas, shooting enemies, and things like that, the fluidity and your movement, it needs to feel good. In this game, it does feel good. It feels excellent. Another thing that I thought it was good is as you go through the level, if you are the kind of person who likes exploring a map, you are going to find yourself to be very fortunate, because that's a very good way to improve your character. You can find new weapons, and the game allows you to directly compare both weapons, which is really good. And there is not only a variety of weapons, but there is also different weapons based on the areas that you go to. Like the second area, you start with a shotgun, and the first one, you kind of start with a pistol and a rifle. My favorite to use was the shotgun, but as you go through, you can unlock, like in the second level, I could also still find the weapons from the first level. So I'm sure that as you unlock like the level and the approach, you can find any weapons you want. As you die, interesting things happen in this game. Every level is handmade. It's not procedurally generated or anything like that. So the way that they did was they made different chunks of parts of the level, and they made many different alternatives for that, and they also mix and match different parts of the level, and it's all human made. It's nothing machine generated or anything like this. So I thought that was really cool. My very first run, I went for a long time, and when I died for the first time, the level looked so different and it changed so much that I felt like just straight up jumping off the cliff and dying again. Because I wanted to see how much it changed. There's also, as you're exploring, there's little puzzles that you can do, and sometimes there are events that you can do. You will sometimes have to make a choice between getting a healing or equipment upgrade. You have like a shield that you can use, that you can absorb some kind of bullets, and when that shield is full, you can unleash a strong attack. That strong attack is basically the only thing that you have to aim. Even though this is a shooting game, you don't really have to aim, and that's probably a good thing, because again, it feels like a fast-paced game. You shoot things, you get them, you go next, and go on so forth. You can also change the difficulty of your game by adding trial modifiers that make the game a little bit harder and protector modifiers that make the game a little bit easier to adjust things so you have the most fun. As you die, in the skill tree, basically you have like 3 paths. I tried to get the devs to tell me how big the skill tree gets, but they couldn't give me an answer. But they said it was big, and basically what you see in the beginning of the game is like 10% at most of what the whole thing is. So as you die, you basically have 3 paths of things that you can upgrade. You can go through the defensive path, so you get more armor. You can go to the aggressive path, so you do more damage and your special attack and your shield gets stronger. Or you can go to the path that you gain more experience and more items and upgrades as you go. You're not limited or locked to any of these paths. Of course, you can save some of your money to progress later on, but when you get to the first you get to a point in your skill tree that requires you to kill certain types of monsters to be able to acquire certain types of skills, because they drop a certain extract that you need from them. For example, the boss, those are the greatest upgrades that you can give your character. They are quite like interesting, and some of them can even allow you to come back to life after you died once. I would say that's much better than just getting overall more experience and things like that. So while those are harder to get, they're also much more worth your while. My favorite thing about this game was actually the boss fight. I could only get to do 1 boss fight, and that's really a pity. I didn't even know, like in the start, that the boss fights were going to be so cool. Otherwise, I would have rushed faster through the levels, but I kind of found it so cool that whenever I died, the levels were so different, and I kind of regret spending so much time with that, because I truly enjoyed the boss fight. The boss had very clear phases and mechanics that you could easily take a hold of. This boss, he would summon some little ads that would generate more bullets, so the faster that you take out the little plants that he summons, in a better situation you'd be. But even while the other plants were around, it was still manageable and doable. He also had a specific phase where you had to bounce between dancing with the bullets but also absorbing the bullets with your shield. It was so well designed for those bullets to be absorbed and dodged that it just really felt like a dance. During the levels, while there's bullets and all this, it feels more like, I would say, arcadey. You just dodge the area, or there's some type of monsters that you might even want to keep around, because they give you the most like blue bullets that allows you to power up. So it's really cool in the sense that there are some monsters that you probably want to keep alive, and some monsters that you want to kill faster because they don't really make you stronger. During the boss fights, it just felt very neat and tight and engaging, and as the boss fight goes, it escalates in a way that it also made sense. Like, I just had like less room to be able to dance with the bullets, and on phase 2 I also had an area of the room that I would walk slower, and walking slower in a game like this is not good. So I needed to keep to a certain circle in the center. It looked beautiful, and I almost first tried the boss. The only reason why I didn't first try the boss is because I started the fight with 50% HP. Damn it. But maybe the next boss I fight, I will first try. I think that the visuals is definitely one of the most impressive things of this game. And mind you, no matter how high the quality I can make this video and how high the quality I can bring this footage to you guys, in spite of it still looking beautiful, when you're actually trying the game and playing the game, it looks even beautifuler. Because the compression rate and the bit rate, this all kind of like, especially when you have a lot of information, like in this game there's a lot of effects and bullets and so on. So our video qualities, they kind of suffer a little bit with this, but the game is very, very stunning when you're playing it. The bullets are very well color coded, so you know those that you really have to avoid. Those are the corrupted bullets. Those corrupted bullets, they actually take away your max health, but you can also heal that back by absorbing the other bullets that make you stronger. So you can balance what you can get hit, but it also doesn't feel too punishing, as in the sense that you can recover back what you lost even when you get hit by the worst bullets. And it was just stunning. The environments, it's like an eldritch, it's kind of like a horror game, but at the same time it feels very fast-paced and action, so it's not very scary, but like the environments, they give you a certain tension. And one of the things that I find most interesting about this game is how usually you see roguelites as a type of genre that's only explored by indie companies. And this game is a AAA game that looks stunning, that is bringing, hopefully to a wider audience, what those indie games have been doing for a long time. And I really like that, because they also have like their way to twist it that makes things new and refreshing, even for those who are familiar with the whole shenanigans. Just another thing to note about the visuals, while the first zone has a lot of like tentacles and eldritch themed things, the game also has a lot of variation. For example, there is an eclipse. This eclipse is not really timed, but more like as you reach a certain part of the map. So you can take your time, you don't need to hurry, and when you get to the eclipse, things get harder, but the eclipse is more like adapted to the level. And that's when the tentacles come out and the whole level flashes out. Things look a lot more peaceful and calm and friendly when you're not during the eclipse time. Also, during eclipse time, the monsters are more aggressive, getting hits more punishing, but it's something that you cannot avoid. It's part of not only the lore of the world, but how the game is changing. In each level, the game has 2 visual changes: eclipse mode, non-eclipse mode, and also there's a gameplay change between those 2 modes. And each chapter that you play, I don't actually know how many chapters there are in total in the game. This is an information they couldn't disclose, but each chapter also they have very distinct and different visuals. The second chapter, it was more like a mix between a closed spaceship, darker spaceship, and with some fire, rather than the first zone that was like an open world with tentacles and stuff. And they even had some tentacles in their office. It was kind of cute. I got to handshake some of them. My favorite things about the game were definitely that while bullet hell is normally not my first choice, because previously I experienced a lot of headache, this game in particular, I did not have that effect. It also felt like quite fun and inclusive, and not like as stimulating and overwhelming that it tends to give me the feeling of. But also, I really enjoyed how the levels, as I died, they changed, kind of like felt with purpose. You could actually see parts of the map that were kind of like different and blocked off, and it actually made me curious to see what alternative it would be if that part was open. So I really appreciate that everything was handmade. I really enjoyed the music. The music, it was quite like something that I would expect coming from Finland, at least from the part that I got to experience, but not too much on the heavy side, just nice light rock. Overall, I had a lot of fun. I could definitely sit and play that game for a while, and especially the boss fights, they were my favorite part by far. Dancing with the bullets felt really fun. I hope if you're into roguelikes and roguelites, and also if you're into bullet hell or games that just look very pretty, I hope you get to check out the game if it's for you. If it's not for you, I hope I helped you figure that out as well. And I will see you guys soon. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.